So, what if I ask you a question that could possibly make you feel some type of way? Or should I say this? Should I say that your branding isn't the problem? Because we're going to talk about branding today. All right. We're not talking about nothing else but branding. So, the one question that I want to say is your branding isn't your problem. Your broke thinking is the reason why your branding is the way it is. You see, there are coaches out here that and let me say this, there are coaches out here that walk around right now. They got their logo, they got their color palette, they got a bunch of Canva templates, and they have this ring light that they carry with them. I mean, what else could you possibly think that is wrong with this picture? And guess what they doing? They post it every single day and they still have no freaking clients. Now, here's the thing. They keep tweaking their brand. They come up with a new font. They come up with a new headshot, but the clients never seem to show up. That's the issue that is number one. I don't care what else you do, that's the issue. Now, people don't like to get uncomfortable. Like this is the most uncomfortable truth that nobody wants to discuss. And they don't want to discuss it out loud. They want to keep it behind closed doors. Broke branding isn't about how your stuff looks. Let's keep it a buck. It's not about what you look like. It's about how you think, how your brand presents itself. These are the type of things that keep most coaches and consultants and podcasters at a level that nobody, and what we call that is we call it the mindset. Now, everything that you do, every caption, every episode, every offer you put out that says, please pick me instead of here's what's possible. A lot of people are out here perpetrating a fraud. And what I mean by perpetrating a fraud is this. They're using certain aspects in life, but these certain aspects just do not match up with the message that they are delivering. Now, until you kill that energy, no brand in the world is going to save you. No branding is going to save you. You have to stop thinking that you are above the rest and the people that you are supposedly trying to serve are just low level individuals. That's not the case. See, people come to you for help and people come to you for guidance, or at least that's what you want. But your brand is screaming something entirely different. So you can't design your way out of what we call a positioning problem. You can't do that. It's not going to happen. Okay. You can't guide your way out of a positioning problem. Now, here's what I need you to do. I need you to stay with me because today, and I do mean today, we're buying back the mantra. We're buying it back and we're burying the broke branding for good. No more BS. Okay. And I'm going to show you exactly what and how to replace it. Let's get into it.
Welcome to Podcast for Profit, the show where podcasters become CEOs. I'm your host, Tony Porter, and every week I'm giving you the strategy, systems, and game you need to grow your audience, monetize your message, and build a seven-figure podcast business. No fluff, no cap, just real results. Let's get into it.
Hey, yo, welcome back to the podcast, man. Welcome back to Podcast for Profits, the show where we stop trading time for likes and start to turn that conversation into currency while we turn it into their revenue. So I'm your host, Mr. Tony Porter, your podcast monetization coach. Your podcast monetization strategist and business coach. Now, today we're going to dive into the death of the broke branding because this is something that has to be brought to the forefront. This is a issue where a lot of individuals, instead of the message that they want to proceed or have, their branding is not speaking to the masses. They thinking it's all about the color palette and the logo, look fresh to death. That's not what branding is. All right. So we need to fix that immediately. Now, before we get started, before we jump deep down into this, I want to speak to the coaches, the consultants, the service providers who are tired. And I do mean tired. All right. Tired of podcasting into the void and ready to start generating those real clients, that real revenue that will pay for you and make sure that you are up to par, up to speed, up to snuff, and doing what you need to do to be successful. All right. So pay attention. All right. The strategies that I'm going to break down today aren't theory. They're not theories at all. These are the exact frameworks that not only myself, but the other 1%ers use in their business to gain clients through their podcasting every single day. Now, here's what we're going to cover today. And as you can see, I'm going at this a little different. I wanted to sit down today and and talk to y'all a little bit. So I got my notes on the iPad. We're going to get busy. If you see me glancing down, don't fret. If you're watching me via YouTube, but if you're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, any of the other streaming platforms, hey, just know that sometimes I'm checking the notes to make sure everything is copacetic so we can make sure that we're good to go and we just gonna keep it moving. All right. So a couple of things we're gonna talk about today. Why branding might be actively repelling your clients and what premium position actually looks like when it's working. So let's get into that, man. Like, listen, we're not here to hold you. We want to solve one problem, one pain point, and give you a solution to help you make it through that spot, man. It's crazy how branding can repel your customer base, and it's also detrimental to anyone who doesn't realize that you have to be able to position yourself the correct way in order for your branding to truly work. Now, here's the thing about branding that nobody in the creative space wants to talk about. We treat it like it's a decorative. I have on a graphic T-shirt or graphic shirt, long sleeve, and it's branding for the team that I coach for. Now, to me, this is an outfit, but that's how we're treating our branding today. Like it's the outfit you put on before you do some real work. All right. So you got to understand why most people in this day and age just do not feel comfortable with some of the people that they come across. Because here's what a lot of people don't understand. Even in coaching, even in being a service provider, even being a consultant, branding is not the outfit. It's not your logo. It's not your business cards. It's not your flyer. Your brand is your offer dressed in the public. I'll say that again. Your brand is your offer dressed in the public. And if the brand is broke, if it's screaming, I'm figuring this out instead of I'm the answer, then guess what? Then every episode you record, every post you publish, and every DM you send is working against you. You the face. And I try to tell people this all the time. It's like high school football. High school football has a head coach. Okay. The head coach is the face of your program. If your head coach is not being the face of your program, your brand is broke. You cannot build a brand being silent. You cannot build a brand being an ignorant person. You cannot build a brand sitting on your hands. So today we got to fix that. And there's three pillars that we need to talk about the whole way through. So let's get started now. As we always do, we got to make sure that this message resonates with you. So we're going to make sure we get you the magnetic messaging with inside of these next three pillars. All right. So pillar number one that we need to discuss is what broke branding actually is. And it's not what you truly think. See, that's the thing. Look, here's the funny part. Most people right now to this day, most people will sit here and like we turn conversations into currency over here, correct? Now, most people will sit here and go back and forth with you, telling you how to podcast, telling you what you need to do, we're telling you how to monetize. We're showing you. We're not telling you, we're showing you how to monetize your podcast. Now, our branding is simple. We got podcasts for profits and we turn conversations into currency. Yes, we have a logo. Yes, we have branded colors, but that's not the most important part. The most important part is attracting, converting, and delivering on the promise that we can get you 3 to 5 clients a month through podcasting. Now, if you've ever refreshed your analytics at midnight wondering why your content isn't converting, those are the ones who are up at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning trying to figure out why things is not working for them. So if you've ever done that, here's why. This one's definitely for you. See, I had to learn this the hard way. Before I started following David Sands, I started putting content out, right? Here's what I thought. I thought branding was about looking legit. Like I thought that people would follow me because I had the website, it was clean, it was fresh, it was this, it was that. I wanted people to see me and see my stuff and think, okay, this dude is a very, very, very professional individual. So I did the work. I got the logo, I figured out the fonts, got the colors correct. My color plateau was locked in, like super locked in. And then it hit me like good. And that's the path that I had taken. I looked marvelous. But when I first started podcasting, all of that was done and I was still broke. Not a dime. not a client, not a download. Now, I wasn't broke because I started podcasting because podcasting was like a hobby, but it was also going to become a second income stream. So I had a job. I had money, but my brand was broke. I had no direction. Basically, everything that I was putting out was designed to impress other people. I was looking for more acceptance than I was being accountable for the content, make sure my content was valuable, making sure I didn't know at the time. So by me not knowing, I didn't know how to attract the clients. And I failed at that. I truly failed at that. I ain't gonna front. I'll be the first to tell you I failed at that. And a lot of people don't want to talk about that because they don't know how to show the side of not being successful. And I wasn't branding for the client. I was branding for the people around me. All my friends, all my homeboys, homegirls, whoever. I was branding for them. Like I wanted them to approve of everything that I had done. When in reality, they wasn't the ones buying the product. They wasn't doing diddly squat. All right. They just wasn't doing it. So, and the crazy part is growing up in the west side of Louisville, Kentucky, we had people who worked hard. Man, my grandfather worked extremely hard, retired from G, retired from the Navy. But as he got older and I was more or less drifting towards the streets, I realized the block taught me a lot of things. Now, I had street smarts, but I also had book smarts. But it didn't teach me the difference between looking successful and positioning myself for success. It's like how I feel now. People look rich, and you can tell the difference between people who got money and people who don't have. See, the ones who have money, they don't look like it. They buy nice things. I ain't gonna say they don't. They splurge. And if they have to, they'll rock they'll rock some Louis, some Michael Kors, or a Mary, but it's not an everyday thing for them. Those who don't have money, they're out here struggling. They feel like that their branding is exactly what it is. It's something that fresh out of a Fresh Prince TV show. They want to live in Beverly Hills when they're really living in the slums. Now, some people you can't tell that to because guess what? Some of us we feel like we got a lot of paper, but our branding is way different. Our thought processes is way different. So I had to learn that particular situation on my own. Like I couldn't fathom going to my grandfather at the age of him being around about 74 and asking certain questions because at that particular time he was struggling. And so being in the street, people judge you for what you do. People judge you for being certain aspects of branding was the way that they were. Now, broke branding has three signatures. All right. And you got to learn to look at them when you're out there searching for someone else. Listen, David Sands is a great mentor. All right. I've been following David Sands and Miss Donnie Wiggins for the last 5 years. Stumbled across them in 2021 after I made a transition from doing music online. I got into digital marketing in the podcasting space. So that's when I started following them. Now, the way that you find broke branding is this. Most people whose branding is terrible, they lead with their credentials instead of the outcome. Now, people want the solution. People want the transformation. But you basically telling me that this is how much money you make and this is how much this is and this is what I've done. When someone lands on your podcast, your Instagram and your LinkedIn, any one of your social media platforms, are they immediately clear on what their life looks like after they work with you, or are they reading a resume? See, the whole thing of it is we have when we're doing over a podcast for profits, we want to transform how you position yourself to draw the clients. It's not about what I've done. It's about me helping you get to the point where there's a lot so you can try to get in and break the 10 percenters because it's hard. You got to do a whole lot of work to get to that 1% level. I haven't got there yet. I'm in between there. So you have to understand. See, everybody has a side hustle, but does your side hustle and your brand fit each other? That's the major question. Do they coexist? All right. So you basically what you basically have to realize is this right here. And when you sit back and you pay attention to a lot of people don't pay attention to what goes on because they're just they're stuck. And telling telling somebody that your credentials is the worst mantra you could ever do. Here's an example. When people come to you and say, "Hey, I'm a certified coach. with 10 years of experience. But if I really wanted to draw clients, I would say something like my clients book 3 to 5 qualified calls a month with our cold DMs. I'm still telling you how good I am, but I'm also putting my clients before my positioning. And that's the reason why this works so well. That shows that, one of these conversations is for sales and the other is, the accreditation. We just want to get to the point where we have enough trust in saying, I want to work with this person. All right. Now, signature number 2, you're creating content for clout and not conversation. And a lot of people don't understand that this is very important. This is the difference between content that makes people say that's good or content that makes people say, I need this person in my life. It's like when you go on a date. You can know if the date's going to be well enough that you want to have a second date, or you know that by the middle of the date, you calling your girlfriends or your boy, your homeboy, tell, hey, call me with this emergency so I can bail out, so I can leave this, join her. All right. Branding, broke branding chases likes, man. That's all they want to do. They want to chase the likes. And then when you have premium branding, as the upper echelon of what we call branding, it chases decisions. These decisions is every piece of content you create should design to move someone instead to I'm in. You know what I'm saying? Instead of them saying I'm interested, they are basically saying I'm ready to work. So that's what we're sitting at. If it's not doing that work, it's decorative. It's pretty, but broke. You have all the pretty colors, the matching shirts, logos here, logos there. But if it's not basically telling them what the transformation is and the solution that they're going to get from that transformation, it's broke. And then signature number 3, your brand apologizes for your prices. Real people pay for real results. Now, the one thing that kills me is the people who go online and bash coaches or bash consultants or service providers or digital course creators because they didn't put in the time to finish a course, or they didn't put in the time to research, or they didn't put in the time to put the action steps together that someone showed them and instructed them the next move. All right. Uh, when your brand apologizes for your pricing, listen, it's suitable, but you still broke. It's very suitable, but you are still broke as a joke. Look at your bio. Look at your descriptions. Look at how you talk about your offers. If you're not excited when you talk about your stuff, man, Russell Brunson delivers every single time, and he's so excited when he's like, it be some people that will come on and be like, yeah, my offer is this, and this is what we're doing here. And you just be like, yeah. So Brunson talks, he gives you a story, hook, story, offer. He leads you in. He gives you a story of why this particular thing not only helped him, but could work for you. And then he makes the offer for you. He's so passionate about that. So the one thing I always ask people who ask me for help, clients that I've worked with, are you over explaining your value? Are you loading your content with disclaimers? And are you softening every call to action? That's that broke branding energy. If you are scared, get out. It's gonna keep it. It tells people you don't believe in the three, the prices that you have put together for your product. Basically, this is what it's telling you. Now, the market doesn't pay for effort, it pays for certainty. That's a big thing. And broke branding is the most uncertain core in business. Now, I always tell you this: if you're on Apple Podcast, Spotify, your favorite streaming platform, follow, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend so you can get this free game, because that's what this is. It's very free. And see, what you got to understand is this: free does not always necessarily mean watered down. Free can lead to a whole lot of situations. So with that being said, knowing what broke branding looks like is only one step, because once you see it, you can't unsee it. And as we move into the next section, we're going to show you exactly what costs you, the individual whose branding is broke as all outdoors, what it costs you when you leave it in a place that it shouldn't be left in. Now, pillar number 2, the real cost of broke branding, not just your missing clients, your repeat. So what does that mean? What does it mean when that says you're repelling them? If you've ever felt like you're working harder than your results justify, you have to look at what you put in is what you get out of it. If you put in a vast amount of work, this was a season early in my business where I was creating content consistently. My episodes, my posts, my stories, newsletters. The machine was running like a well-oiled operation. And the results were fine, but they wasn't great. They was fine. They was cool. I had some engagement. I had started growing my audience. I had people telling me they love my content, but it wasn't converting at a rate that I wanted it to convert. I was getting clients at a rate I knew was possible. And for a while, I told myself, man, just keep going. It'll come. You know those sayings, if you build it, they'll come, right? Well, it didn't come. It did not show up the way I wanted it to show up. It just didn't. So I didn't realize it that I had a problem until I checked the volume on my content. It was a positioning underneath it. I was out here building the audience, building what I wanted to build. The fans was coming, man, like they was there. Like it feels so good to walk into a place and somebody says, "Man, I love your podcast." When I needed them pipeline clients, they wasn't there. And that those two things are definitely not the same. You can build an audience, but audience you want to build that pipeline that converts. And I wasn't doing that when I first started. See, broke branding just doesn't fail. It doesn't fail at all. What broke branding does, and I kid you not, it doesn't fail to attract the clients. It trains your audience to see you in the wrong way. When you lead with effort instead of outcomes, when you talk about how much work you're putting in, how many hours you're grinding, how many or how hard your journey has been, you position yourself as a student of the game and not a master of it. And people want to hire a master. People don't want to hire a student. It's like music artists who are out here trying to get started and get paid. What do? Understudy. They want to hire the main producer. People want to go out here. They want to hire Timbaland. They don't want to hire Tony. They want Timmy, not Tony. All right. So you have to understand this. And this is why I had to figure out, this is why I took a step back and had to slow down. Every podcast that I published, I was confirming my premium positioning. This is the no nurture content. I'm not trying to nurture you. I'm trying to give you the value. So by me giving you the value, it makes everything a whole lot easier. All right. Every time someone watches your episode, you should want them to read your caption or listen to your intro and walk away with a clear reason to hire you. If your intro basically tells them exactly who you are, what you do, and why they should work with you, that will help you in the long run. But if it's broke and you don't know what they don't know what you do, raise your hand because that's the formula for broke branding, and that's the real cost because it's just the clients you don't get a chance to close them. You are sitting there stuck in a rut. And we have that saying now, get it out the mud. Well, you can't even get out the mud. You're stuck in quicksand. You're sinking slowly but surely. And that's you want to be able to say that when you talk to someone, oh, this person, I want to hire them. That's how it should be. When you're talking to someone, you're selling yourself every single time. You'll never meet people that will buy from you straight off the top. Because right now in this day and era, people have been scammed so much they don't want to, they don't feel comfortable dealing with a whole lot of people. Now, every piece of content is either building a case for why someone should hire you or building a case for why they should not. It's no middle ground. It's either you over here or you over there. And that's the way it is, man. It's just a lot of things that a lot of people just don't seem to get when it comes to your branding. You have to pay attention to that. And again, follow us because we keep discussing this and we're going to keep discussing this until we keep discussing it more and more until someone says, "Hey, what you talked about really worked for me." And then guess what we're going to do? We're going to continue to discuss it. Now, let's talk about the solution because the death of broke branding isn't a rebrand, it's a reframe. It's definitely a reframe. And it's the exact pillar that is going to help us, pillar number 3, get us to that point to where we are at that premium position. And this is what we want to replace broke branding. All right. So if you ever wonder what separates the coaches who are charging $5K a month from the ones who charging $500, this is it. I want to tell you about a client. I got this friend. I call him a friend, but he's, I've helped him out. And, we don't do no name dropping because before I shot this and I started recording this, I didn't have an idea that I was going to add this. But anyway, He came to me with this idea. He had a solid podcast. He had good content, decent audience. He was consistent posting with a schedule. That's what made me wonder why he was there. But then what happened was he was charging $300 a month for his coaching program. There's a red flag. Red flag to the core. All right. He told me he felt like he couldn't charge more because his audience wasn't ready for it. And I looked at his brand and I immediately saw the problem. Everything he was doing, it was showing that he was still growing. He was documenting his journey instead of leading with the transformation. So basically what he was doing is every time he put an episode out, he's basically telling you what's going on with him, but he wasn't giving you giving out the information to help his clients or anything grow or help anybody find it. So what we did was we chopped it up and then we worked together. We spent the next couple of weeks fixing, rebranding, the positioning, the same content, same show, same audience, but we just took and rebranded everything. And 3 months later, he became a fragrance influencer through his podcast and his streaming platform. Prices went from $3 to $2,000 because people wanted to get in there and learn how to smell good and what to wear at certain. Yes, there's a niche for everything. And he was positioning himself to be that person. The product didn't change, the thinking changed, the mindset changed. And this is where the premium podcast is built on 3 pillars. Pillar 1, outcome first. Everything else is a little bit, down the road. Every piece of content, every episode, every title, every caption, every email, every subject line should lead with the transformation and not the topic. It shouldn't read episode 47, content strategy for coaches. But how I help coaches book 4 clients in 30 days using podcast episode, that's what it should look like. Now, one of these titles is about what you know, the other is about what you get. It's how you should lead to get to what you want to get to. So that's what you want to do. And then pillar number 2 was the authority stack, man. We talked about that. You don't get to claim authority. You have to demonstrate it. That means your podcast is regularly dropping insights that feel like paid coaching. It means your social content makes people say, I can't believe this is free. You want people to know that the value that they're getting is right there in their face. It's good for the goose, it's good for the gander. All right? You want it right there, smack dead in the face. And then conviction positioning is so important. This is one of the hardest because it requires something that you can't manufacture, and that's belief. You got to make people believe in you. Broke branding apologizes for your prices. Premium branding justifies it through convictions. When you talk about your offer on your podcast and your content and your DMs, it's a no-brainer. There should be zero hesitation in your voice. You should talk about this with so much smoothness that it's unreal. And what I want you to understand is this, because I need you to follow the show. I need you to follow the podcast. I need you to literally subscribe, give us a review, and do what you do best. Okay? Now, everything we talked about today, the 3 signatures of a broke branding, the hidden cost of positioning problems, and the 3 pillars of premium position, all of this is your foundation. And your foundation is set by how you position yourself. So if there's some things that you want to learn, like for those who want to learn how to generate clients, we have the client generating podcast, a blueprint. We're going to leave a link in the description below. For those who want to understand the conversation to currency, we got that checklist. It walks you through how to turn conversations into currency. And that's the honest to God truth about everything. Guess what? They both free. We're not charging you. One is worth probably about $197. The other is worth probably about $97. Free, because we want you to succeed. We want you to be successful. We want you to understand what it is to be in that top 1%. So the first thing you need to do is grab the client generating podcast blueprint. Link will be in the description below. The second thing you need to do is grab the conversation to currency checklist. It's the self-audit tool. It will show you parts of your podcast and positioning for your clients you knew nothing about. So yeah, grab it, man. Now today I want to say this because it's something new that I'm doing before we get out of here. Subscribe to the podcast on your favorite streaming platform. If you want to watch the podcast, watch it on YouTube. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, Podcast for Profits TV. But today I want to discuss something for those who are not watching, and those who are watching. you see me kind of glancing around. I have my iPad, like I said in the beginning. I'm in my studio, my small office studio. What I'm doing is because I'm a one man show, I'm literally looking at my computer screen, making sure that I'm still in focus. I recently just added a new camera to the family, and I'm learning things like right now I'm ready to do this. I don't know if this, I'm learning these gestures here, okay? But I'm having fun. So excuse me if you was trying to figure out what I was looking at because I'm trying to make sure everything's in focus. All right. But that's all I wanted to say, man. I appreciate you giving me some of your time today. Don't forget, happy Memorial Day. All right. The show don't stop. We keep going. And I want you to be successful. All right. Now, I am working on something special and I'm going to ask for some beta help with this particular project. So tune in, stay with me, subscribe, follow all platforms, and we'll see you when we see you. Listen, we thrive on turning conversations into currency. Now go do yours the same way. It's your man's. I'm up out of here. Peace.
Thanks for tuning in to Podcast for Profit. If you got value today, share this episode with a creator who's ready to level up. And make sure you hit follow so you never miss the moves we're making. If you're serious about turning your podcast into a business, tap the link in the show notes to join the Solo Empire Network and get the tools, coaching, and community you need. I'll see you in the next episode. Keep going.